Live from New York, this is the Harvey Hour. My name's Nathan Harvey. It's great to have you in today on a Friday. What a Thursday it was yesterday. My God. I can't believe it. I called it slightly, though. I had the point spread pick for the Giants. But as always, I'm joined alongside my dad, Stephen Harvey. Well, how are you doing today on this Friday?
I couldn't believe last night's game either. I was very surprised by it. I missed on the point spread and the win-loss.
All of
Giants
America
winning.
basically even missed on that one. I
That
New
was,
York Giants
very
fans who
unexpected.
didn't even believe it.
It's only the fourth time that the Giants have beat the Eagles in the last 18 tries, so it wasn't likely that they were going to win, particularly with a rookie quarterback. We had 3 turnovers last week and a running back who fumbled the ball in a key situation.
Think about it. The Giants had, 5 straight possessions with a turnover last week against the Saints, and they played out of their minds this week. So yeah, we're going to talk about that game. We got week 6 picks. The Harvey High, and coming off a 5-1 week. We're bouncing back, or actually we're continuing that streak. I got 5 picks that I love. 2 that are actually repeats of last week, but I'll get into that later. We got a lot to talk about, but let's start with this one. We're going to start on a positive. Normally the show starts off on a relatively negative note. We're bashing a team, we're bashing a player. But I think, we have to start with, obviously, the New York Giants, who, obviously, the topic I'll change in a second. But Jaxson Dart played out of his mind. He looked poised in the pocket, again, running when he had to. He really did a number on the Philadelphia defense, which hasn't been good really all season. But I was shocked by the fact that Brian Daboll's coaching for his job. He decides, let's go with the rookies. Let's go Cam Skattebo. He's the starting running back. Jaxson Dart, starting quarterback. And they've looked really, really good. Skattebo scoring 3 rushing touchdowns in this game. So overall, how big do you think this win was for the New York Giants?
Huge. This is the biggest win for them in years, actually. I think since they had the playoff year under Daboll, this is the biggest win since then, I think. Because it shows that he made the right choices putting the rookies in there, at least so far. I mean, last week he didn't look so good, right? The 2 rookies had 4 turnovers between them. That wasn't so good. But apparently they sat together on the plane on the way home from the Saints game and lamented their poor performance, said they'd never let it happen again, said they'd have each other's back, said they were going to be there for each other. And lo and behold, they did. They came out, and Daboll said, you go through some tough times. Sometimes you can get stronger from it, or sometimes you can fold. I like our guys. These rookies have the right mindset. They're tough, and they showed it last night. And my takeaway from the game is Skattebo and Dart rebound from 4 turnovers against the Saints to lead a lopsided victory against the Eagles that was enough to make Sirianni faint.
Yeah.
So Skattebo, as I said, 3 TDs, 98 yards rushing, 2 catches for 12 yards. You see his touchdown celebration. He does a backflip and cartwheels. That guy he's an athletic guy.
Yeah.
1 rushing TD, 1 passing TD, 17 for 25, 195, and 1 touchdown. Dart, nobody expected us to put up a performance like this. That's for sure. We didn't expect it. So that's what I'd say about the Giants. I think they look good. They looked like a winning team last night. The defense played very well. The defense sacked Hurts 3 times and had 1 interception. Only Hurts' 2nd interception in the last 15 games. And as I said, the Giants beat them for only the 4th time in the past 18 games. So to me, it was a huge win.
And I completely agree with that. This was a impressive win, obviously. I have a number of Giants fans. They didn't even expect this. So much so, I had one of my friends say, "Hey, let's just hang out and talk about how badly the Giants are getting screwed over." And while we were hanging out, all of a sudden we were cheering them on. I couldn't believe it. What I found, there's multiple parts of this. First of all, what I said against that Chargers game when I said that don't look at the stats. Jaxson Dart has 160 total yards. It's obviously not a statistical performance like, oh my God, 300 yards, blowing us away, whatever the case may be. No. What I saw was the quick decision making. He's not waiting in the pocket. The pressure could be there or it won't be there, but it doesn't matter. He's not waiting for something to happen. He's making it happen. And in turn, he's getting his head bashed in, basically, which I don't love. He needs to learn how to slide. But I do like the decisive nature of what he's doing. Even if pressure's not there, he's going. Pressure might be there. He's going. If they rush 2 and all of a sudden the lane opens in front of him, parts like the Red Sea, he's Moses. He's crossing that Red Sea. I love that for Jaxson Dart because it extends plays. The most frustrating part about Russell Wilson's game was that he was hiding in the pocket, waiting for something to happen. And when nothing was there, he'd chuck a deep ball to Malik Neighbors that got picked off. Or just hide behind the offensive line in the red zone and hit the goalpost several times. So, and what I find even, and I don't mean to always bash on Russ. I don't. But like when the data is there, when the fans, he's out for 2 plays and fans are booing the hell out of him. And I have the sequence of events here. So Jaxson Dart needs to get checked on by the medical team of the Giants for a potential concussion. So Daboll goes over and checks to see what he wants to see what the hell's going on. He wants a starting quarterback. He gets actually kicked out and says, go do your job coaching your team. And that follows up with Russ throwing this pass on a 3rd and 9 that isn't even remotely close. And what happens? Fans are booing him, and this immediately cuts to a Giants fan in a Michael Strahan jersey booing the hell out of Russ. So what is Daboll's reaction? Starts screaming at the team doctor. Says, hey, get my quarterback out there. You couldn't get him out fast enough? So Daboll's just completely done with him. And I mean, I would fully understand that. Because if you're telling me his 2 snaps are a handoff that went nowhere and a pass that didn't even be remotely close to the intended target, there was no pressure. Why did Russ get the ball out? I have no clue. And then the entire stadium erupts in boos? Yeah, Daboll's coaching for his job. He clearly loves Jaxson Dart. Did we see his reaction when they upset the Chargers? I mean, he looked like he loved the guy. It was ridiculous. So I think right now it's a really bad look for us. Because think about this for a second. Pete Carroll was done with them. Sean Payton was done with them. Brian Daboll's done with them. And also Mike Tomlin was done with him. That's 4 straight head coaches where he never found a home. He thought he may have had a home. The Broncos paid him an absurd amount of money before he even took a single snap for him. But 4 head coaches since 2021 have given up on Russ. So I think that for his career, it's time to just call it. I do not think he has a market at all. I think with Jaxson Dart and the New York Giants, he needs to refine his game. And I think that with the way Dart's been playing, instead of hiding behind an offensive line that's not great, Andrew Thomas is great, believe me. John Runyon's done a fine job this season, but John Michael Schmidt, the center who got hurt in this game, and the entire right side of the offensive line with Van Roten and Illuminor, they've been terrible this year. So he's being very decisive, and that's something that I love. When it came to Dylan Gabriel in the game, was it in London this past week, it looked like he was playing to not lose rather than take the shots, be decisive, make the throws on time, and play to win. I mean, there was a defensive pass interference. That throw by Jaxson Dart in the back left corner of the end zone. You can't throw the ball better. Jalen Hyatt, I know he was getting, held. His right arm got held. But that was right in the breadbasket with his left arm. A lot of receivers would actually catch that regardless of the defensive pass interference. It was a beautifully thrown football. I think what we're seeing is a different Giants team. I'm not saying they're going to all of a sudden be a playoff team or even get remotely close. But they at least have something to root for. They have hope. They have, okay, Jaxson Dart seems to be the guy. Cam Skattebo with his pure physicality. I mean, he was giving the crowd something to root for when he's bashing into defenders, rolling them over. Jaxson Dart doing the same thing. They were 11 of 16 in this game. 3-3 in the red zone. They were one of the worst third down teams in the NFL and the worst red zone team in the NFL. They went perfect in the red zone and 11 of 16 on third down. They did a really, really good job, and their defense has been playing better. You know why? Because it's not Russell Wilson dink, dunk, punt. Dink, dunk, punt. They're extending drives. Jaxson Dart's making plays. Yes, he's a rookie. Games will be ugly. There'll be fumbles. There'll be miscues. There'll be interceptions. But at least have something to root for here. At least give your fans a reason to show up every Sunday or Thursday or Monday.
Mm-hmm. I agree with all that you've said, and I amplify one thing. Jaxson Dart needs to learn how to slide because if he's out there taking those big hits like he did last night, he won't be around long.
That's the second time he's gotten checked for a concussion.
Well, what good's that going to do the Giants if he keeps doing that? Drake May did that some last year, and he missed some games because of taking big hits when he was running the ball. So Learn from that, Jaxson. You want to be out there helping your team win, not sitting on the sidelines with train whistles in your head because you got a concussion.
Right, and like I said, this is the second time he's been checked out. Against the Chargers, he was out for a play where Russ got instantly sacked, and then he came back in that one and was able to close out the game against the Chargers. But, I mean, ultimately, the Giants played extremely well. Their defense forced 2 turnovers. A.J. Dillon, I have no idea why the hell he's out there. Are they saying Saquon's tired? Is he banged up? Is he playing through a severe injury? The fact that they they played A.J. Dillon, they played Saquon, but there were a couple other running backs out there. I don't care what you need to do. We're going to talk about the Eagles in a second here. I don't care if he has to catch footballs in the backfield. Give Saquon the ball way more. The Eagles have this weird methodology offense that makes no sense. The Giants did a great job because it seemed like then everyone's talking about it now, the predictability of the Eagles offense, and the Giants caught up on it instantly. That opening drive, it was one of the opening drives where it was run, and then third down, you're obviously going to pass. You're not going to run 3 straight times, so you capitalize on that. You get a stop 4 yards out before the first down marker, and they're forced to punt. So, I mean, on paper, the Eagles played decently. Yeah. The offense was fine. The defense was abysmal. But I think the Giants, they won the turnover battle. Jaxson Dart made the plays that matter. They won in the red zone. They won on third down. I think this was a feel-good win for the Giants. And I'm not saying they're going to catapult themselves all of a sudden to be, an NFC East threat or a playoff threat. But this, at least, I think Daboll right now is saving his job. This move and the risk that it took to put your rookies in, although you were scraping the bottom of the barrel anyway. Yeah. So I don't think it could have gotten much worse, but ultimately you made this decision and it's paying dividends instantly because since Jaxson Dart and Cam Skattebo became the starters, they have the most first downs in the league and the second most offensive touchdowns in the league. That's what Jaxson Dart and Cam Skattebo started for you, and we still have to realize they don't even have Malik Neighbors. They're sending Wan'Dale Robinson out.
He played pretty well.
Darius Slayton wasn't even in this game, although he had a fumble last week, so maybe that's a blessing in disguise for them that he wasn't able to play this one. But Jalen Hyatt is being forced to play. The Giants seem to have him in his doghouse. He doesn't play anymore, but they're having to play him. Theo Johnson, former Patriot, Lil Jordan Humphreys out there making some big-time catches. He had 4 catches for 55 yards.
He was the second leading receiver for the Giants. Little Jordan.
I mean, you have to think about it. 3 receivers caught passes the entire game. 1 tight end, 1 running back were the other 2 guys who got receptions. So they don't have any guys to make big plays. This was just I'm going to out-physical you. We're going to take this game from you, and you're going to have to live with it.
Well, Skattebo was pretty impressive, I must say.
Absolutely, 100%.
He got those touchdowns down there in the red zone, 2 4-yard runs.
Yeah.
Just muscled his way in there. They out-toughed them.
Absolutely.
They were tougher. Which is pretty impressive against the Eagles, I would say.
I agree, but again, that has to be Brian Daboll. That's Brian Daboll's coaching. So I got to give props. The Giants, again, I'm not saying playoff team, but the fact that they're doing this when they were at that point against the Chiefs where they couldn't do anything, Russ hit the end zone 3 times. He overthrew it, hit the bottom of the goalpost, and sailed another one. And that was did like a 2-yard scramble that did nothing in the red zone.
Yeah, red zone efficiency with the rookies is top of the league.
Shockingly good.
Yeah.
Against a team that just won the Super Bowl with largely the same unit.
Yeah.
I know a couple players were out, but it's essentially the same unit. But speaking about that unit, let's dive into it because the Eagles, they haven't gotten anything right this season. They haven't looked the same. Jalen Hurts is not playing well. Saquon's not playing well. The coaching is not great. The defense is terrible. The offensive play calling is still terrible. They have no identity. The Eagles are a complete mess. A lot of questions. A.J. Brown, 3 weeks in, was going back to his nonsense that he's had for the last 3 years. I mean, it's been utterly ridiculous for the Philadelphia Eagles in this entire situation. So much so that A.J. Brown denied having a 2-hour meeting when I think it was Jalen Hurts and Saquon both said they had a meeting. Or maybe it was Devontae Smith. But other players confirmed that there was a meeting. There was a report of a meeting, and A.J. Brown, toying with the media, said that he has no idea what the media was talking about. So, again, this is the nonsense the Eagles staff, players, and fans have to put up with every single season with Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, and that whole unit, including Nick Sirianni. So, we're seeing it the last 2 weeks. This is their first back-to-back loss since 2023. So, we're in similar territory because remember that 2023 team, Brian Johnson and Sean Desai and also Matt Patricia, that whole weird defensive thing of moving people up and down in the box and that was an utterly complete mess. But my question to you is, do you think it's time to hit that panic button, that red button, lights, red lights flashing, alarms blaring? Mm-hmm. We're only 6 weeks in, but is it time? Are you willing to hit that panic button if you're Philly?
I don't think so just yet, although I'm close. I mean, they have won 4 games, Nate. I mean, you're ripping on them, but they have won 4 games.
They were 11-1 in 2023.
They beat the Bucs. They beat the Bucs in that game. That was a pretty big win for them. So I will say they have 4 wins. They are the Super Bowl defending champions. I would say last night Hurts had an off night. The tush push was working, but really, and the stats looked okay, but they really didn't have much else besides the tush push. So the rushing game stalls again, and as you say, they have a predictable play calling and their lack of creativity. I think if they lose again here next week, and I'm not sure who they're playing next week.
The Eagles next week?
Yeah.
Vikings.
The Vikings. That'll be a challenging game for them. If they lose that game, then you're going to start hearing about the OC and whether he's really the right guy. You mentioned the defensive snafus they had a couple of years ago when Matt Patricia was calling the plays on the sidelines and the DC was up in the booth, and they didn't really have any leadership on defense. I think if they lose confidence in the offensive coordinator, that could be a real problem for them, even though they have a lot of talent. Why is the running game should be great? It should be good, and the reason it's not is, as you say, predictable play calling and lack of creativity. They don't have some creative runs designed for Saquon, who has all the talent. You look at him last night, 12 rushes, 58 yards. He's got to be really disappointed going back and playing against the Giants, who kind of just disrespected him when he was trying to get a contract. Hurts, 24-33, 283, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Doesn't look so bad on paper. He was sacked 3 times. He missed Devonta Smith on a wide-open pass that would have been a touchdown, and he threw a pick, which was, you might as well say it was a pick 6. I mean, the guy Flott, Flott. He went right down the sidelines of 60 yards or so, and that was a huge play because the Eagles were driving there. So, could say that I give the Giants all the credit for winning this game, but really the Eagles' offense was off, and Hurts had an off night.
Well, yeah, I think that this season we're seeing a lot of similarities that we saw in 2023 with Brian Johnson as the OC. And this is interesting because I feel like I need to not apologize, but point out, because I've said sometimes, actually most times, you can't hide bad coaching. Some players, most players, can't overcome poor coaching. Daniel Jones couldn't overcome Joe Judge or Freddie Kitchens or Jason Garrett. Jalen Hurts can't overcome Brian Johnson or Kevin Patullo. He can't. Some players can't. Think about all the bad coaches we have. Mike Kafka for the Giants initially was really bad at play calling. So much so Brian Daboll took the job back last year. And when you don't have a quarterback, I mean...
Jones couldn't overcome that.
Right. And now all of a sudden, take a look at it. Jalen Hurts was great with Shane Steichen. All of a sudden now, he was pretty good with Kellen Moore last year. He was really good with Kellen Moore. Look what Shane Steichen's doing with Daniel Jones, making him an MVP candidate. Baker Mayfield with Liam Cohen, Dave Canales, he made those 2 guys head coaches. Think about that. Rodgers with Jeff Ulbrich in that whole situation. Horrible. There were like 3 different offensive play callers that entire season. Complete mess. You can't overcome it. They went 5-12. Mac Jones, Matt Patricia, Joe Judge, head coach and offense coordinator, and then QB coach. Can't overcome it. So I think Kevin Patullo, he's in over his head. There is no finesse. Drive 1, run, pass, punt. Drive 2, pass, scramble, sack, punt. Drive 3, run, pass, punt. Seems oddly familiar to drive 1. All right, what about drive 4? Pass, pick. Again, where's the runs? Where's the It just seems like okay, what about drive 5? Pass, fumble. How?
Turnovers are not his fault.
This is an internal.
Turnovers. You just mentioned 2 drives in a row, 2 turnovers.
Right. But the fact that in the first 5 drives, you have 4 design runs and the rest are passes and 1 scramble. The initial drives are supposed to be on script. Where are the adjustments? Saquon did a fine job initially. He had a pretty decent yards per carry early in the game. And I understand he's having an off year, obviously. But the second half of games is shocking. They went scoreless in the second half. This is the data for the second half. This is for this season. Dead last in points per drive, dead last in scores per drive, the 31st in punt rate, 3rd in out rate, 29th in league EPA per play, dead last. Let's compare it to last year with Kellen Moore. This is basically the same unit of guys. Actually, it is the same unit of guys. Compared to last year, they were second in all of these. Now they're basically dead last in everything. 31st in punt rate, 31st in yards per drive, 32nd in scores per drive, and 32nd in points per drive. Compared to literally second in everything else from last year. I think that Nick Sirianni, he's a walk-around guy. He's not a schematic guy. He's not calling defense. He's not calling offense. He's a culture builder. The culture sucked. I said that last year and the year before that when A.J. Brown was doing this nonsense. How can you be a cult? They did win the Super Bowl, but
they won the Super Bowl.
Right. They won the Super Bowl with the same guys.
Things have got to be, something's got to be right if you win the Super Bowl.
Right.
And you know what? Sometimes a little
competent coaching.
Sometimes a little controversy is a good thing. You know? A little, somebody stirs it up. It wakes people up. They re-examine. I don't think that's such always a bad thing. I think that sometimes that's a good thing.
Well, normally if you're a consistently competent team, who, by the way, just overcame the ultimate test of beating Patrick Mahomes in a Super Bowl, which in recent history, 2 quarterbacks have done, Tom Brady and Jalen Hurts.
Beat him badly, too.
Right. Beat the snot out of him. There's only 2 quarterbacks in Mahomes' career who's beaten him in the Super Bowl, Brady and Hurts. That's it. Brock Purdy got close. Jalen Hurts got close as well. How can you go from winning the Super Bowl and being the most dominant team, offensive line, defense, Saquon had the most rushing yards, regular season, postseason combined, to go from that to right out of the gate, you played against the Dallas Cowboys. And we were thinking, how the hell is this game close? Now, ultimately, we know because Dak Prescott in this offense is utterly ridiculous. But the defense wasn't the same. The offense looked really inconsistent, especially in the second half. Nobody could do anything. We're looking, what the hell are the Eagles doing? Their coaching is way off. I think that where are the adjustments? You scored nothing in the second half. The Giants did basically the same thing they always do. Skattebo, be physical. Jaxson, be decisive.
Well, maybe it's on Sirianni. I mean, you look at Dan Campbell. He had a new offensive coordinator, new DC.
Right.
One game, they played poorly. After that, they've been great.
That's what I'm saying. It's a culture thing. If you're telling me this is another year of A.J. Brown talking about anything and everything, and then all of a sudden it being nothing, it gets frustrating because
they threw the ball to him a lot last night. They lost. Right. He had 6 catches for 80 yards, and they lost.
That's the thing.
So would he rather win with 2 catches and 50 yards, or would he rather lose with 6 catches and 80 yards?
Well, think about it, because I don't know how you determine, again, the carries number is inflated because they ran 4 straight tush pushes. So if we talk about just strictly running the football with the running backs, Saquon had 12 runs. Last week against the Broncos, they barely ran it at all. After trying to run it a lot before. They go from too many extremes. They try to run the ball way too much, and that's, largely ineffective. And then A.J. Brown's pissed that he's not getting the targets or quality targets. So then you go to passing the ball a lot, which, by the way, in that Super Bowl year last year, they did that the first 4 weeks. They went 2-2. Then when you run the ball, say, hey, we have Saquon Barkley, the best offensive line in football. We're going to let our defense cook. All of a sudden, boom, you go on this massive winning streak, and you lose, I think, one more game the rest of the year after that point. So how do you balance that out? Jalen Hurts is not a tremendous deep ball thrower. He has one of the worst accuracies on intermediate routes. He checks down the entire time, basically. What are you supposed to do?
Well, they won. This is their 3rd loss in 23 games. So not so bad. You know,
You're telling me you have hope for this Eagles team that
Yes,
all of a
I
sudden
do.
they're going to figure it out.
I think they do. I think I do. I think they will. I think that they're a playoff team. I mean, they have 4 wins already, so they've lost these last 2. They've lost against the Broncos. I mean, they were ahead by 14 points, and they lost their focus and let the Broncos back into the game, and that's something you got to learn from. Last night, Jalen Carter didn't play, right? So that's an issue for the defense. So then they have other people like Quinion Mitchell. He got hurt, right? So that helped out Dart a little bit. So I don't know. I'm not giving up on the Eagles just yet.
Oh, I am. Big time. Well, how about this? Let's go this. Let's go throughout their schedule, see how many more wins they have. They play at Minnesota next.
I think they find a way to win that game because they don't want to lose 3 in a row.
Okay, so we're giving the win there. Home against the Giants.
I think they win that game.
Bye week 9, and then at Green Bay.
I don't know. Green Bay's defense isn't. They have a bye. They had a bye week last week. Maybe they figured it out. We'll see how they play on Sunday. I give that one to Green Bay. Maybe
going to Green Bay. Home against the Lions.
I think they win that one.
The Lions win or the Eagles win?
The Eagles.
Wow. At Cowboys.
They win.
Interesting. Home against the Bears.
They win that one.
At Chargers.
I think they lose that one.
Home against the Raiders.
They win that one.
At Commanders.
Well, they played the Commanders once already, right? No, they haven't? They haven't played them yet.
No.
At Commanders, they lose.
At Bills.
At Bills, they lose.
Home against the Commanders.
They win.
So you're telling me today, at a 4-2 record, they'll end the season 11-6.
Yeah, that's a playoff team.
It's a playoff team, but you're telling me this team.
I think that you know what? I think they
first of all, you have a win over the Green Bay Packers and the Lions.
That's no. I thought they lost against the Packers. They have a loss against the Packers.
Oh, right. You have them losing against the Detroit Lions. Beating the Detroit Lions.
They're at home.
Beating the Detroit Lions. Yeah.
Well, they have to. If they're going to be another Super Bowl contender, they have to beat a good team. They have to beat good teams.
I can't see the Lions losing that game the way they're playing now and the way the Eagles are playing
today. That's down the road a ways. That's not for next week. That's not the week after. That's
this
weeks
seems
from now.
Very reminiscent of that 2023 season where their record was great. You get to a playoff game against Tampa Bay and they obliterate you.
Well, they were playing poorly. They were playing poorly
too.
Leading up to that game. It was a defensive problem.
Correct. This season, the defense is 20th, the offense is 30th.
I believe 11-6 is the worst they will do. They could do better than that. That's my take.
Well, if it's the worst you do, that means that the Lions game is a done deal. Eagles win. Otherwise, 10-7.
No, they might maybe one of the other 4 losses I have there. That they might win one of those, and maybe they lose to the Lions.
Wow.
It might be a flip. But I think 11-6 is the worst for them. You don't think they'll beat the Giants at home in the game that's coming up?
I don't worry about the Giants. I think the game will be close, and I don't know if
you think they'll beat the Vikings?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so that's 2 wins. That's 6 wins.
I think at Packers is going to be a tough game. You have them losing that one, so I'll give you that. The Lions, I think, is going to be a loss there. I think the Cowboys, with Dak Prescott playing at an MVP level, CeeDee Lamb will probably be back at that point.
But the Cowboys' defense is going to hold them back.
How is the Chargers' health? That's my concern, because right now they're banged up
But that's
entirely.
down the road.
Right. That's what I'm saying. I'm just getting a vibe here. So let's just say, going off the top of the head here, I think Packers, Lions, Chargers, Commanders twice, and Bills. I'm looking at 6 losses, 5, 6 losses.
You think they'll lose to the Commanders twice?
I do think they can get swept by the Commanders, 100%.
I don't think so.
They lost to, who was the quarterback? Was Sam Howell the quarterback? No, Jaden Daniels was the quarterback. Yeah, he had that late game comeback when Jalen Hurts went down with an injury. I mean,
okay, well that's an issue if Jalen Hurts is not in there.
Well, I expect him to be out there, but ultimately, I mean, this team looks nothing like it did last year.
It's too early to write off the Eagles, Nate.
This is the same team, just with one major change. Kellen Moore's out, Kevin Patullo in.
2 major changes. The DC is new too.
Oh well, no. Vic Fangio's the same.
I'm
DC.
sorry.
Well,
that's right.
Think about this. Kevin
Vic Fangio's- was there last year.
has been the pass game coordinator for the Eagles since he's gotten there. What is the one thing we say doesn't work as well as everything else? The passing game. And everyone thought he'll be the OC. The one criticism everybody has Jalen Hurts is he's a better quarterback when he operates with a great running game. No one says, you know what? I want Jalen Hurts throwing it 30 times a game. No, nobody is saying that because we've seen Jalen Hurts be a primary passer and it looks really ugly.
Mm-hmm.
Compared to when he has Saquon Barkley and a really good running game, it's okay. Then Jalen Hurts could do play action. He could do some deep shots.
Don't the Eagles have some issues on the offensive line right now?
Correct.
They have injuries.
Correct. But even without those injuries, they were not playing anywhere near the number one offensive line in the league last year.
Okay. Well, it's too early to write them off.
I'm hitting the panic button because it feels, again, that's why I picked the Giants to cover. I said it feels weird. This season, if it feels weird, go for it.
Yeah.
100%. Dylan Gabriel, they should have covered that game. Kevin Stefanski blew it. Absolutely blew it. It felt weird. Rookie quarterbacks, you don't have a vibe with them. That game was too close. Kevin Stefanski, again, it's the Cleveland Browns. They're going to screw something up. If it feels weird, go for it. Because clearly, in the NFL nowadays, this feels like 2023. I'm saying it is. I want to be proven wrong. I want to see Saquon and this dominant team, although people really don't want to see this team anymore because the tush push was run 4 straight times, which people don't love. But this
works.
It does work. It's really just I'm going to overpower you, try to stop me. That's what that play is.
Nothing wrong with that.
But I just think ultimately it's this team, along with the Eagles, the Commanders, the Cowboys, just based on their name. I don't think they'll go anywhere. They never go anywhere in the playoffs, but a lot of this is just, I want these big name, big brand teams in the playoffs because it makes it interesting. There's parity. If Lamar Jackson gets banged up later in the year and he can't, like that Bengals-Ravens playoff game where the Bengals won on a Sam Hubbard, 96-yard fumble return touchdown. Snoop Huntley was the quarterback. Nobody wanted to see Tyler Huntley out there quarterbacking the Baltimore Ravens, but Lamar was hurt, so he couldn't play. No one wanted to see Kenny Pickett go up against the Buffalo Bills a couple of years ago. Nobody wants to see that. I want to see top-tier quarterbacks and top-tier teams in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. I want to be proven wrong.
Well, then you want the Eagles in the playoffs.
I'm telling you right now, if we see an Eagles team that gets by barely, like they are right now, it's going to be 2023, and whatever team plays them in that first round will absolutely destroy them, just like the Bucs did in that wild card game.
Wow. I think it's a little early to be saying that. It's only the game. This is only week 6.
Right.
Yeah. We aren't even the halfway point yet.
True.
We're even the third of the way point.
But I jump on trends. Jump on it.
It's a third of the way through the season coming up here on Sunday.
True. But again, it's a feeling. I go with it. If I'm wrong, I'll gladly be wrong.
We'll see.
Yeah, we absolutely will. All right, coming up, week 6 picks. We'll be making every single pick throughout the NFL season, as well as my Harvey Hot Hand 5-1. If you followed the Harvey Hot Hand picks, you were very happy this week. Last week, excuse me. But this week, I love them. Again, if it feels weird, go with it. That's my mantra for this week. But yeah, coming up, we'll make those picks in my Harvey Hot Hand. We'll continue that hot streak in a bounce back. That's what we needed. Start the season rough, we'll bounce back. All of that right after this break.
Using Wi-Fi without NordVPN could mean sharing your private stuff with more people than you think. Stay safe on public Wi-Fi. Get NordVPN's special offer and encrypt your internet connection. NordVPN. Online security starts with a click.
Whether you're just discovering your voice or taking your show to the next level, you know what the world needs to hear. All you have to do is say it. With Spotify, set up your podcast. Your food podcast. Your mindfulness podcast. Your never thought you'd get this far podcast. And watch those sparks fly.
I put a picture of the comment.
Drop the episode anywhere people listen. And find out who they're cooking with. Where they're finding inner balance. And why they love your show. You're already a creator. Now you can create, connect, and get paid for your passion with one single free tool. Spotify for podcasters. Talk where the world listens.
Welcome back to the Harvey Hour. My name is Nathan Harvey. It's great to have you in today on a Friday. As always, I'm joined alongside my dad, Stephen Harvey. Let's get into our next topic of today's show, which is our Week 6 picks. Every single week throughout the NFL season, we make our picks and predictions on what teams will win and what teams will cover the spread. Rough week for us. Win-loss, not great. Point spread was a little bit better for me. 5 of my 8 picks that I did win, we'll bring it up here. 5 of the 8 picks did actually end up covering, which is good. So the teams that I bet on to cover, we made some money off of, basically. So let's begin. Thursday Night Football, we covered it the entire first 2 topics of today's show. Eagles won, but the Giants won and covered. I thought it was weird, so I had the Giants covering the 7.5 point spread. So yeah, rough. We talked about it, but my God, the Giants, they're looking good while the Eagles are plummeting quickly. But let's get into the Sunday games and the Monday games. So the first one, the Broncos at the Jets in London. Woody Johnson going back to England over there. I think the Broncos are going to win here. Coming off of a big-time win. Again, is it just like the Cowboys facade where it's like any team could score on them heavily and gain yardage? I don't know. The Broncos came out big. Bo Nix looked good the past couple weeks. The defense looked really good. Garrett Wilson versus Pat Surtain. What's it going to be like? I'll take the Broncos to win and cover here. They're looking like a really good team, while the Jets, they have yet to have a takeaway. They keep fumbling the football. I say that continues. And also, they continue their streak of not getting a single takeaway and fall to 0-6. Give me the Broncos to win and cover the 7-point spread in London. The next one, Patriots at Saints. The last time these teams played, thanks to the Saints social media, I got reminded of it. It was a game we were at. Mac Jones was the last time the Patriots played the Saints. He was the starting quarterback, and they scored a grand total of 0 points. It was rough. But this time, Drake May, a new culture, a new offense, a new system, a new defense even, a completely new team. I'll take the Patriots in a big-time win here to win and cover the -3.5 point spread. I think the Saints, they played the New York Giants. The Giants had 5 straight drives of a turnover. I think the Patriots, they're smarter with the football. Drake May is playing a really, really good style of football. Mike Vrabel's done a great job at building up the culture. And Stephon Diggs just turned the clock back like 7 years. I mean, he's playing out of his mind recently. So give me the Patriots to win and cover the 3.5 point spread. The next one, Chargers at Dolphins. Give me the Chargers to win. However, the Dolphins cover the point spread here. Give me the 4.5. The Chargers are so banged up. Trey Pipkins, the guy who was supposed to replace Rashawn Slater, who also need to replace the sick Mekhi Becton and Joe Alt at one point. Yeah, he's out. Joe Alt's out. This offensive line is starting 3rd and 4th string offensive linemen. I understand. The Dolphins really do not have a pass rush here, and that's the only reason why I have the Chargers winning this game. Justin Herbert can't stop turning the ball over. There's been drops. There's been fumbles. There's been interceptions. The defense hasn't been great. They traded for Odafe Oweh from the Baltimore Ravens and gave up a safety. I think right now the Chargers, they have to figure something out. They're right. Also, Omarion Hampton's on IR. Najee Harris is done for the year. They're starting a 3rd string running back. So I think right now the offense is going to look interesting. Also, Quentin Johnston right now is questionable to go. Will he go for Sunday? I don't know. There's so many injuries all over the place. Give me the Dolphins to cover. They lost in horrific fashion. We hear now Stephen Ross is frustrated and putting pressure on Mike McDaniel. He's coaching for his job. Tua played well. They need to figure something out against a Chargers team that the past couple weeks has not done well. Give me the Chargers to win, but barely. Dolphins do cover the 4.5 point spread. Next one, Rams at the Ravens here. Give me the Rams, 7.5 point spread as well. Give me them to cover and beat the Ravens. Cooper Rush did nothing. 0 touchdowns, 3 picks. We're talking about Derrick Henry at 2 yards a carry on 15 carries. I mean, it was really, really ugly. And the Rams coming off a brutal loss to Mac Jones. I mean, that's rough. You lose to Mac. I mean, yeah, Mac Jones is 3-0 right now, but still, you lost to Mac Jones. It's rough. So you gotta figure that out. Kyron Williams, Blake Corum, they keep fumbling. Matt Stafford has played out of his mind. I say that continues against a depleted and really terrible Baltimore Ravens defense, and the offense led by Cooper Rush is not going to be so great. I think we're going to see a very, very hungry Rams defense that let Mac Jones cook them for the first few drives in that first half. So give me the Rams in a blowout victory over the Baltimore Ravens. They obviously cover the 7.5 point spread in Baltimore. The next one, the Browns at the Steelers. Give me the Steelers to win and cover. I understand. Rodgers, old, offensive line, not great. Browns, top-tier defense, like top 1 or top 2 defenses in the NFL right now. However, it doesn't matter. They're not going to pressure Rodgers. Rodgers getting out almost, it's like a top 3 in time in the pocket. He's getting the ball out quick. He doesn't want to get hit. Him and DK Metcalf have a really good connection now. They just scored like an 80-plus yard touchdown overseas against Dylan Gabriel and the Cleveland Browns. To me, this doesn't make a lot of sense. I think right now, the Steelers defense, they look pretty good overseas. I say that continues here. Give me the Steelers in a big-time victory. Aaron Rodgers is playing really good right now. I know PFF has him as the lowest graded quarterback. That's because he's not making any big-time throws. He's dinking and dunking, but the Steelers have an opportunity to really gain a massive gap in the AFC North. I say that continues. They get a big-time win over the Cleveland Browns, who right now, Judkins is playing great. The Browns aren't a good team to begin with. So give me the Steelers here. Big-time win over the Cleveland Browns at home. Next one, Cowboys at the Panthers. I don't believe in the Panthers. Not at all. Dak Prescott's playing at an MVP level with the amount of injuries they had. They just obliterated the New York Jets. The Panthers, however, they had a nice comeback, but it was Rico Dowdle rushing for a gazillion yards against the worst rushing defense in the NFL in the Miami Dolphins. That game should have never been close. You're up 17-0, and you somehow blow it against Bryce Young and the Carolina Panthers, who don't have a good defense, who are starting a backup running back. By the way, Rico Dowdle will be out there in this game against the Cowboys. I don't think it makes much of a difference. I say with Dak Prescott playing at an MVP level, like I said actually to open up the year, I'll take the Cowboys in a big-time win. They cover the -3 on the road in Carolina and get this big-time win. The next one, the Seahawks at the Jaguars. At some point, the Jaguars aren't going to average 3 takeaways a game, giving Trevor Lawrence, who's, by the way, not playing great. He had one really, really good game last week on Monday Night Football against the Kansas City Chiefs. But, I mean, how many great games like that are you going to have when ultimately the past few years you haven't played nearly that level whatsoever? I think against the Seahawks right now, I know the Seahawks injury report is not looking that great. A bunch of the defensive starters may be banged up. But Sam Darnold, I mean, we saw what we should have seen like 5-6 years ago. The battle of Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield, too. Was it top 3 or top 5 picks in that draft? They were battling it out. Both of them were dealing with injuries. So I think right now, the Seahawks, the way they're looking, I think Sam Darnold, he had one interception late. It was ugly. It cost him the game. But ultimately, he's played very, very well so far the last few seasons. Give me Sam Darnold and the Seattle Seahawks. They continue their dominance and really try to make their case in the NFC West and for a playoff push. Give me them in an upset over the Jacksonville Jaguars. I just think they're the smarter, better team. And with Mike McDonald's offense, I got to give it to him. I think they'll make Trevor Lawrence, feel the pressure a little bit. The next one, the Cardinals at the Indianapolis Colts. Here's a little bit of a caveat. The points may keep shifting. So, newsflash, as it has been the case basically the entire season, this is one of my Harvey Hotham bets. I was able to get it in at -6.5. It's been -7.5, as you see on the graphic. It's now at -7. So it keeps fluctuating. For me, it doesn't matter. So I'm betting at the -6.5. If some sports books have it at -7.5 or -7, I don't think it matters. Because what we saw last week from the Cardinals is probably a reenactment of the Three Stooges. You intercept Cam Ward, then fumble while coming down with the ball, then someone trying to go for it kicks it, 2 Cardinals players try to fall on it, it stumbles all the way into the end zone for Tyler Lockett to fall on it. Kyler Murray takes a snap to the face mask, and all of a sudden Dean Mercado decides, you know what, let me try to be cool and chuck the ball behind me as I try to score a massive touchdown. Yeah, that's the Arizona Cardinals for you. And also, Marvin Harrison still can't get exactly right. We're still waiting for a true dominant performance like we saw last year. So I'm taking the Colts here. They're technically, statistically, the best efficient offense, the most efficient offense in the NFL. Daniel Jones is playing at a very, very high level right now. Jonathan Taylor's the best running back in the NFL. The offensive line's playing great. The defense scares me a little bit. But ultimately, the Colts are a top 3 team in the NFL right now. Give me them to win and cover against the Arizona Cardinals at home. I mean, the redemption story. I love redemption stories. One that hasn't been so great is Geno Smith, who currently leads the league in interceptions, and they've all been really, really ugly interceptions. Going up against, but thank God, they're going up against the worst team in the NFL in the Tennessee Titans, who should still be winless. I just said. It took them to score a touchdown led by the Three Stooges, and also for DeMercado to chuck the ball behind him out of the end zone so it fumbles out of the back of the end zone, and for Kyler Murray to take a snap to the face mask in order for them to win. Yes, that final drive was beautiful, and Cam Ward made a nice throw to Calvin Ridley. That's all great. However, that shouldn't have even been a play that mattered in the game because the Cardinals should have blew them out of the water. And they did for a large part of it. And then the Cardinals all of a sudden became a high school team. I mean, it was utterly ridiculous watching that game. It made me want to rip my hair out. But because I had the Cardinals winning and covering the 8.5 point spread, which they were covering through 95% of that game. So I do not care about the Raiders right now. I don't worry about them, with Geno Smith's turnovers, Ashton Genty, that running game is being picked up a little bit. Pete Carroll and Chip Kelly, their offensive coordinator, they're, taking shots at one another about offensive play calling. Pete Carroll saying we need to run the ball more. Chip Kelly saying the offensive play calling is fine. So there's a rift there. There's a lot of tension apparently around Pete Carroll and how it's not working and the offense isn't running well. You don't have JPJ in his designated position at center. You're playing him at guard, which is a horrible mistake. Just take a look at the film there. But I do think you're playing against the worst team in the NFL, the Tennessee Titans, who really don't do anything right. They don't run the ball well. They don't throw the ball well. Jaxson Dart, by the way, he's playing by far better than Cam Ward, and it's really not even that close. The defense is terrible for the Titans. I just think that this is a very fortunate matchup for the Las Vegas Raiders. Give me the Raiders to win and cover at home. The next one, the Bengals at the Packers. Again, this point spread fluctuates between 14 and 14.5. Making this graphic, it was 14.5, so we're going to go with it. I'll take it. I think right now, Micah Parsons, he's the best pass rusher that the Packers have by far. And compared to the top defensive snap guy on the Packers, he has 100 snaps less than that top guy. And he's been the number one guy. No idea why he's not playing way more pass rush snaps. I have no clue. However, he has been the best pass rusher that the Packers have had, nearly doubling the next highest Packer in pressures. So I think this is going to be a really, really dominant game for the defense. This is going to be a low-scoring game. But I do think that the Packers, with their defense, Micah Parsons is going to torment Joe Flacco every single snap. The offensive line for the Cincinnati Bengals is dead last. Pass block efficiency, dead last. Bottom three in QB hits and QB pressures and all that, they are absolutely terrible. And you have a 40-year-old quarterback who doesn't move at all. He doesn't want to get hit, but doesn't move. There's a reason why the Browns benched him for Dylan Gabriel. So I think that the Packers defense is going to be the story here. Jordan Love just can't choke. That's all he has to do. He just can't choke. He can't do what he did against the Browns, ironically led by Joe Flacco again. But I think that this is going to be a really, really dominant game. You're playing in Lambeau Field in Green Bay. You cannot screw this up. Give me the Packers to win and cover the minus 14.5 point spread. This one's interesting. I'm taking a risk here. Again, if it feels weird, go with it. 49ers at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Bucky Irving all out for this game. You're already down 2 starting offensive linemen, which didn't really affect you. And I think right now, the 49ers have so many injuries. Juwan Jennings seems like he's going to be back. George Kittle obviously isn't back. Christian McCaffrey, he's still coming back from his injury. Will he be 100% this season? Who the hell knows? But he's playing at a very, very high level. But here's the big one. Mac Jones is starting. Purdy, Pearsall, they're both out for this game. Mac Jones is undefeated. It's working. I can't believe, but this is a true fact. The 49ers have the number 1 pass offense in the NFL, led by Mac Jones, primarily. So I think this is going to be an interesting game to watch. What will the Bucs defense do against Mac Jones? And what will the 49ers do to slow down the rookie of the year, Emeka Egbuka? Because he has been the story of the season. I mean, you cannot stop him. What will the 49ers defense do? I think Robert Saleh is going to drop something really, really nice for the Bucs offense to make them, maybe see stars. But hey, Mayfield magic is a thing this season. I think this game will be close. I'm taking the shot at Mac Jones remaining undefeated, him going 4-0 in Kyle Shanahan's system, giving the 49ers in an upset on Sunday. I can't, but I still believe in Mac Jones. Deep down, Mac Jones, this is another redemption story. Coaching matters, and Mac's just another example. We can go through this entire list of why coaching matters. Drake May last year, turnover issues, the offense didn't make a lot of sense. We take a look early in Justin Herbert's career, Anthony Lynn and that whole mess, Brandon Staley, coaching matters. Sam Darnold early in his career, the Jets, then the Panthers, coaching matters. Mac Jones is an example of that because right now I believe he's still number 1 in pass attempts per game and number 1 in passing yards per game. So, and he leads the number 1 passing offense in the NFL. Kyle Shanahan. They can't run the ball. So it's not like he's just benefiting off an efficient offense. No, they have to throw the ball because they cannot run it for the life of them. So Max, the load has been put on Mac, and he's delivered the last 3 games he's played. So giving the 49ers an upset over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And this one, Sunday Night Football, Lions at Chiefs. Again, if it feels weird, go with it. Why is Vegas picking the Chiefs to win here? I'm not sure. Yeah, they've looked really great like the second half of the Giants game and onward. But the Lions are playing at a very, very high level. And we have to remember, the Monday night game in 2018, Jared Goff outplayed Patrick Mahomes when he was on the Rams. Then against the Lions, opening game a couple years ago, I picked the Lions in an upset. What happens? Brian Branch pick 6, Lions upset the Chiefs. People are shocked. In this one, week 1 was ugly. You had a new OC, new DC figuring things out. Since then, you've dominated basically every team that you've played. And again, here's the big one for me, though. The big test was against the Baltimore Ravens because their offense was the most explosive offense in the NFL. Their defense was abysmal. Down in the red zone, a large part, you shut down Lamar Jackson and his explosive ability, and in the red zone, force him. 4th and goal, you stopped him. Derrick Henry, you stopped him. I mean, you did a really good job. Against Mahomes, against those 2 tackles, which are not great in both run blocking and pass blocking, they're about middle of the pack to below average. Aiden Hutchinson could play both left and right side of the defensive line. I think this defense is going to be interesting. I know, a bunch of injuries. I don't think it matters. The Chiefs' rush defense is not great. I think David Montgomery, Jahmyr Gibbs, they'll be able to control the clock. That's going to be a big thing. Keep the ball out of Mahomes' hands as much as possible. Dan Campbell is very confident in his team to come up big in this game. He says they have something drawn up. If those players can play, that's great. If they don't, it won't matter. Next man up. We have to realize this is a team that was the most banged up team last year and went 15-2. Injuries are not a concern for this team. So give me the Detroit Lions in an upset victory on Sunday Night Football. All right, the first of 2 Monday night games, Bills at Falcons. Give me the Bills here. Rough loss last week against the New England Patriots. I think it was a unique loss because something that they've really never done, turn the ball over. They did a lot in that game. So I think this is going to be a turnaround victory here against a Falcons team that is very hot sometimes and then ice cold at other times. I think that, the Bills defense isn't great. But I think Josh Allen, MVP last year, he'll maintain that same level here. He leads the NFL in EPA right now. So give me the Bills in a big-time victory over the Atlanta Falcons. And finally, the Bears at the Commanders. A rematch of the catastrophe of last year. The Hail Mary throw, and the Bears never recovered after that insane loss to the Commanders. Jaden Daniels is back, and thank God he's back because the offense last week was really, really good. They could run the ball effectively. Jaden Daniels made some big-time plays, and I think that continues. The defense was really good because you had a quarterback that can control the clock a little bit better, that could operate more effectively. Marcus Mariota did a fine job in that first week against the Raiders, but not so much against the prior week before Jaden Daniels got in there. He did not play very well. So in this one against the Bears, whose defense is very, very close to bottom in the league, Jaden Daniels playing really great since he came back. I'll take the Commanders in a big-time victory. Again, a lot of 4.5 point spreads here. The Dolphins is 4.5. The Raiders is 4.5. The Bills and the Commanders is 4.5. Give me the Commanders 4.5 victory on Monday Night Football in Washington. I'll take it all the way. So those are my picks for Week 6.
Interesting picks there. There's some close games. There's that Seattle Jaguars game. I'm with you on that one. The San Francisco Bucks game. Just the way Baker Mayfield's playing, I can't go against him. Well, particularly when he's at home.
True.
You know. So I'll get into my picks now. Okay. So Broncos at Jets. The Jets. Broncos beat the Eagles last week, but the Giants beat them last night. So, is the Broncos win that big or the Eagles falling apart? We battle back and forth about that. I don't think so. I think the Broncos are for real, and that win was a big win for them. And the Eagles are still for real as well. So, on the defense, defense has only given up 16.8 points per game. That's second in the league. They lead the league in sacks with 21. And interestingly, 14 of those sacks are without the blitz. So they're really getting after the quarterback. The top 3 on third down in the red zone. So they got a great defense. On offense, they have the 4th-ranked rushing attack, which is pretty good. And Nix is seems to be getting in sync with his receivers finally. And I think all of that will be clicking for them in London. And I think it's going to be a long day for the Jets. They're 31st and scoring defense, giving up 31 points a game. 27th in the rush defense, giving up 140 yards per game. They're last in takeaways. They haven't had one. Wilson is 40% of the receiving yards offense, so, that's pretty predictable. I just think it's the Broncos' prohibitive favorite against the Jets in London. Moving on to the Rams at the Ravens. The poor Ravens are so banged up, and the Rams being second in total offense. They also have a pretty good defense, a really great defense against the run. They've given up to Barkley. They gave up 46 yards on 18 carries. To Taylor, Jonathan Taylor, they gave up 76 yards on 17 carries. For McCaffrey, he got 57 yards on 22 carries. So poor Derrick Henry, the last 4 games, he's had 46 rushes for only 148 yards, 3.2 yards per carry, going up against the Rams defense. I think it'll be a long day for him. They're going to be keying on him because they know Cooper Rush can't play. He's given up 3, as you said, three interceptions last week, and the week before when he came in for Jaxson, he couldn't do anything. So, the Ravens are next to last in total defense, so I'm afraid the Rams are going to win this one and cover. Moving on to Dallas versus the Carolina Panthers. Rico Dowdle is a threat with 206 yards last week. And the Cowboys' rushing defense against the rush, giving up 140 yards per game the last 2 games, with the 5th most explosive runs allowed. So that could look good for Carolina, but I think maybe that was a little bit of a fluke. And plus they were playing against Miami, which has the worst run defense in the league. So I don't think Rico Dowdle's going to run for 206 yards this week. However, the Carolina's defense it really isn't much better than Dallas. They rank among the least efficient in stopping stopping and in the league. If you don't count the game against Miami, which is a problem, versus Javonte Williams, who is the league's 3rd leading rusher. So I think both teams will be able to run the ball. I think the difference is the quarterbacks, really, right? The deciding factor in this game is going to be the quarterbacks. Dak Prescott is an MVP candidate, while Bryce Young was in danger of being benched before his little bit better performance against Miami last week. So give me the Cowboys -3. Cardinals versus Colts. I agree with you on this one. The Cardinals have lost 3 in a row now by a combined total of 5 points. Due to blown leads. They had the lead, and they blew it. Murray has a foot injury, and he may not play in this game, but he's only passing for less than 200 yards per game, so that doesn't really factor into my decision that much. I just think the Cardinals are they're just terrible on offense, and the Colts, they found something with Daniel Jones at quarterback and Jonathan Taylor, one of the leading rushers in the league. Teams have more success passing against the Cardinals, 252 yards, than rushing, 92 yards. So the Colts are number 4 in the league in passing stats with 253 yards a game. Rushing, they are number 9, giving up 128 yards a game. So this might be more of a game for Jones than for Taylor, but either way, I think the Colts will win and cover. Jaguars versus Saints, and Seahawks, and here I agree with you. The Seahawks on an upset. Jaguars got a big win versus the Chiefs. It was Trevor Lawrence's birthday. He played very well. In my opinion, the Chiefs beat themselves in that game with a 9-yard pick 6 against Mahomes and that kicking penalty in overtime that gave the Jags the great field position on the 40-yard line. Those are bad mistakes. They can't let that happen. The Seahawks are 9-1 on the road under Mike McDonald. They were 8 in a row. In the last 8 they've won, which is the NFL's longest streak, with 3 victories in that streak by double digits. So they play extremely well on the road. The Seahawks' 2 turnovers against the Bucs may have cost them that game. They need to take better care of the ball in order to win. This could be tough for given the Jags lead the league in 14 takeovers. On offense, the Seahawks have the number 5 passing offense and number 19 rushing offense. The Jags are number 17 against the pass and number 5 against the rush. those are their offensive stats. On defense, the Seahawks passing is number 24, so that could be a opportunity for Trevor Lawrence, who hasn't really played that well except for last week. Rushing, they're number 3, and the Jags 17. They're number 27 against the pass, and number 11 against the rush. So I think it's going to be a very close game. It's only a 1.5 point spread, but I'm picking the Seahawks, and I'm hoping they win. The Chargers at Dolphins. Chargers 3-2, having a tough time lately because of all the injuries they have. The Dolphins at 1-4 just have not played well at all. The Chargers are down to 2 starting offensive tackles. The top edge rusher is out. He's sidelined, and rookie running back Hampton is out. So the Chargers blew the 10-point lead last week to the Commanders, but the Dolphins blew a 17-point lead to the Panthers. Come on. The Dolphins punted 6 of 7 in their second half possessions. They were just awful. The Chargers' defense is number 4 against the pass and number 18 against the rush. Their offense is number 12, and they're number 14 against number 14 rushing the ball. The Dolphins, on the other hand, they're down at they're okay. Their passing is number 16, but they're rushing number 32 last against the rush. So I would say, even the Chargers will have maybe putting a third string running back out there. You probably have some success on offense. The Dolphins are number 21 in passing the ball, but number 30 rushing it. So they're not going to be able to run it. The Chargers have the better offense and defense, and will bounce back again with a win against Miami, in my estimation. The Browns versus the Steelers. I had a hard time with this one. I really think on paper, you look at the Browns offense, it's ranked number 24, but the Steelers are ranked number 27 for passing. And on rushing, the Browns offense number 25 in rushing, but the Steelers number 31. So overall, if you can believe it, on paper, the Browns have a better offense than the Steelers. On defense, the Browns rank number 4 against the pass, number 1 against the run. The Steelers number 30 against the pass and number 19 against the run. So on paper, the Browns are the better team. I'm sorry, but I just don't think they're going to win because Mike Tomlin, and you didn't mention this, but we were talking about it before we came on the air here. Mike Tomlin, he's only lost once in 16 tries against rookie quarterbacks. So I think he'll find a way to beat Dylan Gabriel, who had 2 TDs against the Vikings and resulted in them trading Joe Flacco to the Bengals. The Browns flying back from, this is another factor, Nate, that I think we haven't talked about. The Browns flying back from London to play in Pittsburgh on the road, and Pittsburgh's coming off a bye, so they're well rested. Steelers are playing better defense the past couple of weeks, led by Watt and Hayward, allowing only 35 points and had 7 takeaways and 11 sacks in those 2 games. The Browns' defense has allowed the second fewest yards per game, but I just think, the reason I'm picking the Steelers is they're well rested and they're at home. So I do think Aaron Rodgers, with all his, even though he's old, he's experienced and savvy, and Dylan Gabriel up against Mike Tomlin, only his second start. I just don't see the Browns beating the Steelers. The Patriots at the Saints. Both teams won in Week 5 unexpectedly, really. In my opinion, I picked the Giants to beat the Saints, but they didn't. And the Patriots upsetting the Bills, the biggest win for the Patriots in several years here. I think for the Pats to win this game, they've got to protect the ball. They've had lots of problems turning the ball over. If they get into a turnover prone in this game, I think they'll lose. But for the Saints, I think they need to be able to pass the ball down the field a little bit better against the suspect Patriots pass defense. Patriots pass defense, number 26. And Spencer Rattler looked pretty good against the Giants. He had a couple of nice long passes in that game. The Patriots offense, though, number 7, 241 yards passing. That's a passing offense. But their running game they fumble the ball all the time, and then number 27 only get 95 yards a game. So that's an opportunity for the Saints. I think if Drake May plays well, the Pats should win with a much better passing game, and the connection to Diggs, which is working a lot better, was great against the Bills. Okay, Titans versus Raiders. I think the Raiders find a way to pull out this game in the battle of terrible teams. But the main reason I'm picking the Raiders is that they're playing at home. Titans won last week because the Cardinals beat themselves, as you mentioned. I'm counting on Geno to play mistake-free football for a change. If they can do that, then they should be able to win this game. Cam Ward ranks at the bottom of the NFL in almost every meaningful passing category. Gente should have a good game against the 30th ranked rush defense of the Titans. So I'm looking for the Raiders to win this game. 49ers at the Bucs. I think it's a really close one. We differ on this. I'm picking the Bucs only because of the way Baker Mayfield's been playing. My God, I watched the game last week against Seattle. He was amazing. He was in that game. It was a shootout, and it was really could have been the last team with the ball would win the game, but Darnold threw the pick, and that gave the game to the Bucs. But they earned it, man. The way they played, even without Evans. Generally, they lose when they don't have Evans, but now they have Ibuka, and that's making a huge difference for them. I don't think that the undermanned 49ers can upset the Bucs. Despite Mac Jones' quality starts, Mayfield is the better quarterback, in my opinion, in this matchup, and is clutch when it matters most. Ibuka could be the rookie of the year on offense. As you mentioned, the 49ers have the number one passing offense, 290 yards a game. The Bucs have the number 6 offense passing 243 yards a game. They're a little suspect on the passing defense at number 20, so could be a good day for Mac Jones. But I think overall the Bucs playing at home, and Baker Mayfield, if it comes down to the last drive, so far he's making a win. He's making winners out of the Bucs. Bengals at Packers. I think the Packers are prohibitive favorites in this game with Joe Flacco, the starting quarterback for the Bengals. He just got there on Tuesday. So how does he know what's going to happen on the offense? I don't know what they're going to do there. Maybe they just say heave it long to either Higgins or Chase every other play. I don't know. I think it's. I just don't see how the Bengals are going to be even competitive in this game. Packers at home, coming off a bye as well. It gives them a big advantage. Bengals have 3 blowout losses with the new starter in Flacco, who beat Green Bay in a shocker, actually, earlier in the season. But it really wasn't him. It was the defense and Judkins who made the difference against the Packers. Packers defense hasn't played well in the last 2 games, had the bye to try to figure things out, and now up against a pitiful Bengals offense. So the Bengals offense ranked number 30th in pass, 32nd in rushing, only 57 yards a game. The Packers offense, on the other hand, number 11 and number 18 in the rush on the defense, and number 2 against the run. So it's going to be a long day for the Bengals. Lions at Chiefs, and I agree with you. This is a very close game. You pick the Lions. I'm picking the Chiefs because I think the Chiefs, this is a must-win game for them, right? They're 2-3 now. They can't go down 2-4. I think that and they're at home, and that's going to be a big advantage for them. Their fans will be behind them, and I think that makes a difference. I think they beat themselves against the Jags. We talked about the plays there that gave the Jags the win. The Chiefs' passing game has improved, I think, a lot with Worthy back, and I think Rashid Weiss is back for this game, right? This is week 6, or maybe he has one more game before he comes back. But Tyquan Thornton has been playing well for them. They bring him in down near the red zone. He's so tall, and he can jump up and catch the ball. So he's had some good games for them. Chiefs have scored 28 points in back-to-back games. That looks good for them. Their passing game improved with Worthy back. The Lions are beaten up. They're beaten up at cornerback, which could be a benefit for Holmes. He'll try to exploit. Can the Chiefs D stop the Lions running game? I think that's a big question. The Lions running game number 7 in the league with 134 yards. And Jared Goff playing well this year. And the Lions defense not shabby either. Number 7 against the pass, number 7 against the rush. The Chiefs offense, number 9 in passing, 12 in running. The defense, number 12 in against the pass, 21st against the run. That could be a big problem for them, particularly when the Lions would have the 1-2 punch of Montgomery and Gibbs. I like the Chiefs. I think it'll be close. Could go either way. Bills at Falcons. Who are the Falcons anyway? They're 2-2. They got beat 30-0 by the Panthers. Is their defense really that good? Number 1 in total yards allowed. Is Penix turning the corner? He's been up and down. Is Bijan Robinson the best offensive player in the NFL? Those are all questions I have. I'm not sure what the answers are. The Bills with Allen have a .750 winning percentage after a loss. That looks good for them. There's concern on the front 7 for the Bills defense, which is banged up. Can they stop Robinson? I think that's the big thing there. I think Allen will be too much for Atlanta's defense. The Bills, number 7 in passing, number 2 in rushing, with Cook having a great year. I think that's underappreciated. You don't hear too much about it, but their rushing game is very, very good. Atlanta against the run, they're number 16. So I think Cook has a nice game, and I think Allen will have a good game and a bounce-back win for the Bills. The Bears at the Commanders. This is, you talked about last year when Jaden Daniels threw the Hail Mary and beat the Bears with no time left. And Dan Quinn was running up and down the sidelines, ecstatic after that game. The Bears defense is giving up an average of 420 yards per game over the past 3 games. So you're not going to win doing that. Last year, Daniels beat the Bears on that Hail Mary pass, as I mentioned. The Commanders, even without McLaurin, are a better team this year than they were against the Bears last year, and they won that game. And I don't think the Bears have improved as much as the Commanders have, and that's reflected in the rankings here. The Bears' offensive ranking again for the past 14, the rushing number 24, whereas the Commanders are number 1 in rushing, 156 yards a game, and the defense doing a pretty good job stopping the run as well. So I like the Bears to beat the Commanders. I like the Commanders to beat the Bears at home. And those are my picks, Nick.
Well, again, I don't think Joe Flacco under pressure is, I think, the worst or the second worst quarterback in the NFL. So if the Packers pass rush gets to them, which I think Micah Parsons absolutely will, I expect another number of interceptions in favor of the Packers. So we'll see. Their defense has been playing really good and then really bad in spots there. So I disagree with you with that one. I think the Packers will cover. Mac Jones, that's sort of a...
I had the Packers cover.
No, you had the Bengals covering. Minus plus 14.5. The middle of the screen.
Oh, 14.5. Yeah, I did. 14.5. Cool.
All right. Let's begin. My favorite topic of when we do the Harvey Hour on Friday is some Harvey Hot End. For those who don't know what the Harvey Hot End is, it is where I pick 5 teams that you should bet on every single week throughout the NFL season. Went 5-1 last week. We had a rough week the week before, but we bounced back big. It's a similar feeling I have for these picks. 5-1, always great. Made a lot of money last week. So let's begin. The first pick. A lot of these, actually, 2 of these picks are basically the exact same pick from last week. So we'll see if we can capitalize on that. But the first pick of Week 6's Harvey Hot Hand is
Cardinals at Colts.
Give me the Colts here, -7. I have it at -6.5. When I saw that point spread, I get the Colts under a touchdown. I would absolutely take that. This point spread fluctuates on FanDuel right now. It's at -7. I'd capitalize on that instantly. The Cardinals beat themselves up. They were the Three Stooges last week. You pick off Cam Ward late. Then you fumble it while coming down with the football. Then the guy who reaches for the ball kicks it as he's reaching down. Then 2 Cardinals try to fall on it. They both kick it out towards the Titans' end zone. Tyler Lockett falls on it for a Titans touchdown. Kyler Murray says hike. He gets a snap to the face. And also, DeMercado, the third-string running back, decides to flip it and fumble it out of the back of the end zone for the Cardinals to lose. That should have never happened, but it's the Arizona Cardinals, so of course it happens. Meanwhile, the Colts, on the other hand, are the most efficient offense in the NFL. EPA per play, strength offensively, passing-wise, they're the best in the NFL. And running the football, Jonathan Taylor's the number 1 running back in the NFL. Daniel Jones is having a MVP type of season. He won't win it just because of reputation, but I think ultimately he has a great start with the Colts. I think there's going to be a big-time win here. Shane Steichen has clearly done a number for Daniel Jones here. So give me the Colts, big-time win, relatively close. I think that the the Colts keep their foot off the gas a little bit late for the Cardinals to get close. It's a nail-biter, but give me the Colts to win 28-20. They cover the 7-point spread against the Arizona Cardinals. Next one.
Broncos at Jets.
Like we did last year, the first 2 ones. Colts and Broncos, I'm sticking with the Broncos in this one as well. The Jets are a run-first team. They did a really good job running the football against the Miami Dolphins, and what happened? Well, you fumbled, and that's really why you lost. Statistically, you were fine. In this case, you have the Denver Broncos, who are the number 5 team against the rush. Here's the big one, though. Justin Fields, he's graded 26 out of 38 quarterbacks while under pressure, and the Broncos are one of the best pass rushers in the NFL. I think they're going to dominate. The Jets can't stop turning the ball over, and I think the Broncos will capitalize on that. And also, here's a big one. The Broncos have toned down the turnovers, but it doesn't matter. You're playing against the Jets, who have yet to have a takeaway. First team in like a billion years to have to start 0-5 and have 0 takeaways. So give me the Broncos, big-time win here. They just had a really good win stopping any rushing attack that the Eagles tried to do. Bo Nix is playing really good right now. Give me the Broncos in a big-time victory. They cover the 7-point spread and win 27-17.
Patriots at Saints.
Give me the Patriots here, -3.5. I'll take the points and the big-time victory for the Patriots. The Patriots are better basically everywhere. Quarterback, running back, offensive line, tight end, wide receiver is close just because you have Spencer Rattler at quarterback, so maybe it diminishes Chris Olave and Rashid Shaheed and everything like that. Alvin Kamara's banged up. He may not even go this week, but the Patriots defense has been really good. Pass rush-wise, they're one of the best teams in the NFL, and I think that Mike Vrabel has really changed this culture. Going from Belichick to Gerard Mayo, that whole mess, the end of the Belichick reign into Gerard Mayo, who was an absolute abomination last year, 1-year tenure into Mike Vrabel, who has changed it around. They got a big-time victory against the Buffalo Bills. Stephon Diggs just turned back the clock several years at this point. Drake May is having the quietest top 10 quarterback season so far this year. No one's really talking about him as much as they should be if it were a Baker Mayfield or a Jared Goff or even a Jalen Hurts or a Justin Herbert. Drake May needs more recognition because he's having a really good year. Meanwhile, Spencer Rattler just got his first win as a starter against the New York Giants. And I know the Giants just beat the Eagles. However, the Giants had 5 straight drives with a turnover. They had an opportunity to win that game. Jaxson Dart came out firing on all cylinders against the Saints, and then they couldn't stop turning the ball over. Ramondre Stevenson, if he fumbles one more time, I do not care if Mike Vrabel has Travion Henderson in his doghouse. You have to play Travion Henderson more. I don't care that schematically he's a 3rd down running back and not an all-down back. I don't care. He's the only guy who's not fumbling the football. Antonio Gibson's out for the year. Ramondre Stevenson can't stop coughing up the football. Travion Henderson should be playing a lot more than he has been. So I think the Patriots will get this win here. The Saints decided to play a little trick by posting on X or Twitter, last time they played the Patriots, Mac Jones was the quarterback, and they blew him out of the water, and the Patriots didn't put up any points. We were at that game. It was very bad to watch. They were chanting, Zappy threw an interception in that game, I might add as well. So I think it's different now. The Patriots are a new team. Give me the Patriots. They cover the -3.5 point spread. They win 23-17. The next one.
Rams at Ravens.
Big-time victory here. Another big point spread. Give me the Rams to cover the 7.5 point spread here. Outside of the Tennessee Titans, who are the worst team in the NFL, maybe by far over the last decade, the Texans averaged 12.6 points per game before playing the Baltimore Ravens and putting up 44 points. I think the Rams are a significantly better team than the Houston Texans are, so I think that we'll see another dominant performance and then another team obliterating the Baltimore Ravens without Lamar Jackson out there. Now, some players are coming back. They probably won't be 100%, but they'll be healthy enough to play. I don't think it makes much of a difference at all. The Ravens let go of their best pass rusher when they already don't have a good defense. The logic doesn't make a lot of sense here. Because if you can't get to the quarterback and you let go of the guy who gave you the most pressures, how is that a positive move here? To me, that doesn't make any sense. The Rams are better in all accounts. Puka Nacua is having the #1 wide receiver year so far this season. He literally can't be stopped. Against the Colts, everybody knew third down, go to Puka Nacua. Didn't matter. He put up 170 yards. I mean, he's going absolutely berserk. Blake Corum's having fumble issues. Kyron Williams can't hold on to the football. I mean, there's a lot of issues when it just comes to stupid turnovers, but this team did just lose to Mac Jones. Just going to put that, and a depleted 49ers team. They're hungry. They're going to get a big-time victory. Jared Verse, I think, is going to torment Cooper Rush, who just threw for 0 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. I think the Rams get a big-time victory here. They cover the 7.5-point spread and win 35-14. And the final one, the one that I think you're going to be shocked with, is
Chargers at Dolphins.
give me the Dolphins at a plus 4.5-point spread here. I think injuries across the board. This is going to be a very weird game because everybody's dealing with injuries. The Chargers put in Trey Pipkins to cover for initially Rashawn Slater. Then he had to move because of an injury to Mekhi Becton. And then he had to move because of an injury to Joe Alt. And now he's not even playing in this game. So they're down to third and fourth string offensive linemen. And yes, while the Dolphins are dealing with their own injuries, I think that ultimately it won't matter because the Chargers have been dealing with a number of these injuries. And Justin Herbert can't stop turning the ball over. They lost Omarion Hampton. He's on IR, so they're starting with a third-string running back. Quentin Johnston is questionable for this game. The offensive line is absolutely depleted, and the defense isn't playing so well. So much so that they had to go get Odafe Oweh, if I'm pronouncing his name right, from the Baltimore Ravens, like I just mentioned, who was the Ravens' best pass rusher. So I think it's going to be an interesting game, but I think just look at the way that the Commanders moved the ball against this Chargers team. It was really, really bad. So I think that the Dolphins coming off of an absolutely debilitating loss to the Carolina Panthers, where you were up 17-0 and you lose, yeah, that's an embarrassing loss. You let Rico Dowdle put up, what was it, 200 rushing yards against you? You can't let that happen whatsoever, and I think the Chargers, because this game's weird, because of injuries, they'll get a very close win, but I do think that the Dolphins will be able to cover this point spread just because Tua played fine last week. Devon Achane is a fine running back. He's done a very, very good job. I think Jalen Waddle is perfectly fine. Here's the shocking one. Darren Waller coming back from retirement and I think rapping. He's coming on playing very, very well the last couple weeks here. So I think that they'll need to bounce back here. They'll need to come out on top. They'll get close, but the Chargers are the better coach team. They should be the better team overall. They'll get the win, but the Dolphins do cover the 4.5-point spread. And to me, that looks like a 5-0 week, if I do say so myself. Yeah, so those are my picks. Use the link down below, Dr. Squatch. If you spend $10 or more using the link down below, you get 3 limited-time bricks, value $24, absolutely free for new customers. Thank you for supporting the channel. And as always, you make your criticisms and your opinions on my picks here. So
I don't like that one.
Can't hear you. Got a microphone.
I don't like the last one.
Oh, I know. I expected that one.
I think that why wouldn't you have gone with the Bills over the Falcons, a minus 4.5 instead of that one?
The reason why you were saying on your breakdown, what are the Falcons? Do they have the best offensive player in the league? Do they have the number 1 total defense in the NFL? The Bills have one of the worst total defenses in the NFL. So what the hell are they?
Well, I think there's more questions on the Falcons than there are on the Bills. And the Bills have Josh Allen, who wins 75% of the time after a loss. And they have Cook as well. They have the number 1 running game in the league. They're better than the Falcons.
I agree.
Okay, and then how about the Commanders over the Bears? That's a minus 4.5 too.
I don't know what I'm getting.
The Commanders at home.
I don't know.
Commanders are a much better team, much improved team compared to the Bears from a year ago. I think I would say the Commanders are a better team. The Commanders made the NFC
but think about it.
Championship game last year.
The Bears needed a Hail Mary to lose. Even when the Bears were god-awful last year and couldn't move the ball for the life of them. They needed Jaden Daniels to do a Hail Mary play.
I don't trust Caleb Williams. I'm sorry.
Neither do I, but they needed a Hail Mary.
I just think those are a little easier than, in my mind, and we'll see what happens compared to that Miami game. I do think the Chargers will find a way to win. I do agree both teams are banged up. I just don't. I think that Harbaugh is a much better coach than McDaniel.
Well, I do, and that's why I have the Chargers winning. I will say I did have another pick which I didn't love, so I didn't put it in. Actually, I had 2 picks. Steelers minus 5.5, and then 49ers plus 3. So those are a couple of the other ones that I have. Just the
Bucs never lose at home. They never lose at home.
Well, Mac Jones, all he did was lose. Then all of a sudden, he becomes undefeated under Kyle Shanahan. Remember, we thought the Rams, they're going to obliterate the 49. They're depleted. They lose. Mac Jones plays great. Opens up the first 2 drives and can't be stopped.
Well, if he wins this week against the Bucs, with the Bucs never losing at home, and Baker Mayfield playing as well as he is, if Mac Jones can beat them with the depleted ranks of the 49ers, I think there's a quarterback controversy.
Interesting. Now, John Lynch obviously downplayed that because he has to spend $53 million per year on Purdy, but I don't disagree with you.
Yeah.
Because, again, it's the system.
Well,
I don't think...
Think back to Drew Bledsoe and Tom Brady. Drew Bledsoe got a $100 million contract.
True.
And he got benched after he got hurt. After he got hurt, Tom Brady took him to the Super Bowl and won.
Well, again, I don't think Mac Jones, talent-wise, is anywhere near the way he's playing. Just like how I don't think Jimmy G was as good as he was, but the system fit him fine. The system allowed him to make it to 2 NFC Championship games and a Super Bowl. So
okay, well, that's both Purdy
and
and Mac Jones are playing in the same system.
True.
So that's
my argument for the last 3 years.
So if Mac Jones plays better in the system than Brock Purdy, there's a controversy there. There's an opportunity for a controversy. We'll have to wait and see.
I don't disagree. It's a hot take because Purdy has made it to a Super Bowl.
And Mac Jones has played tough. I mean, he's been hurt and he's been out there.
He's playing through a PCL injury right now.
Yeah.
Purdy's dealing with turf toe.
We'll see what happens.
Mac Jones getting drilled into the turf looking like he died on the field. And then he's dry heaving on the sideline at the end of the game. He's going out there. And he's limited this week, too. He was questionable. But he did get back I think today, practicing while Purdy's out. So, and he's dealing with, he's successful with less players than Purdy's played with.
As I said, you want to make a quarterback controversy out of this? I think there's enough grist in the mill there for that.
Go out and beat 2 teams nobody gave you a shot at beating. I don't think anyone really believes that the Bucs should only be 3-point favorites against the 49ers. I think actually that's a little bit of a respect to Mac Jones for what he's done. I think there should be a 5, maybe a 6-point spread under normal circumstances. I'm not saying Mac's worth 3 points necessarily.
The Bucs have injuries too.
True. They're down Mike Evans, Chris Godwin,
I think
2
the
offensive
big one
linemen.
is Bucky Irving being out. I think that's the biggest hurt for them. Evans, they seem to be doing fine without him with Ibuka.
Well,
and
we'll see
Godwin
how
is
he does.
back now.
Well, he's out for this game.
Oh, is he? I didn't know that.
So
Yeah.
we'll see how he looks as a true wide receiver 1. I think he'll be fine, though, because he's been absolutely absurd this season so far. So we'll see. That's week 6. We'll cover all of that on Tuesday's show.
Who do you think wins tonight, Detroit or Seattle?
Detroit is the better pitcher. Give me the Tigers. I want Seattle. I like Seattle. They haven't done anything historical. I mean, they have the record for the most wins.
I think
but
whoever wins will be beaten by Toronto.
Here's the thing. I think the Red Sox would have beaten Toronto.
Yeah.
Last time, remember, the Red Sox played them at the very end of the year and beat them.
The Yankees are disappointing. You would have thought they would have been able to get it to a game 5 at least. Couldn't win a
Yankees
game.
lose.
The Yankees lose.
I love Big Papi. But yeah, I think the Red Sox would have beaten them. I think it may have taken 5 games, but I think that I don't love Roman Anthony being out that he was against the Yankees, so that was definitely
tough.
That hurt. Was it Whitlock out there too long? Was it he won that
Plus
choke?
Cassis being hurt early in the season hurt.
Oh,
the Red
that
Sox
was brutal.
Because that guy Lowe, he's
Lowe, yeah.
terrible.
Also, Duran all of a sudden now disappearing.
Durando, he was struggling.
Brian
big time.
Bayo all of a sudden also.
Yeah,
they
fell
signed him
apart.
to a big time contract and they took him out after 2 innings, or was it 28 pitches? Or
He
something
played
like
lousy at the end of the
That.
season.
It was really bad. Masataka Yoshida played well though, after being he wasn't like a 5-star recruiter. He was very sought after. The Red Sox signed him. And he hasn't done that well. He played the outfield, wasn't great. Played DH, also wasn't great. Didn't play for a number of games.
Played well in the playoffs.
Yeah. He pinch hit, came in, scored a run that was big against the Yankees. So ultimately, what are you gonna do? But give me the Detroit Tigers. I think they're gonna win. Hey, they've been a very good team. Then they went on that big losing streak, choked a little bit. I think they'll win it. They put out the better pitcher. So give me the Tigers there. Also, I'll add this. Shohei Ohtani 1 of 18 for 9 strikeouts, and they still win. Are the Dodgers all of a sudden going to make another World Series run here?
I think so.
Are they going to beat the Phillies? Or who are they? No, they're not playing the Phillies. They just beat them. Who are they playing? Who the hell?
The Milwaukee.
Oh, no, they're playing still.
Milwaukee.
Oh my God! It's the Cubs. The Cubs are going to beat them. The Brewers choke. I mean, they're the best team in baseball, and all of a sudden the Cubs are coming back and just they shut them out. Was it yesterday?
Well,
Dodgers, Cubs.
when's that game?
I'll
Tomorrow?
take Dodgers. I think so. It maybe tonight.
Okay.
I don't know. It's either tonight or tomorrow, but I'll take the Dodgers are going to make another World Series. Clayton Kershaw, by the way, I found this interesting. Out of all-time pitchers with 100 and more, I think, innings in the postseason, Kershaw has the worst ERA. 4.49. He's not been a good postseason pitcher over the course of his career. And recently, it's been ugly. So, just going to throw it out here. All right, that wraps up today's show. Thank you for the constant support as always. We'll be back Tuesday. But for this one, my name is Nathan Harvey. That's my dad, Stephen Harvey. We have been your hosts of the Harvey Hour. Catch us Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, right here on YouTube.
Night, Grandpa.
Using Wi-Fi without NordVPN could mean sharing your private stuff with more people than you think. Stay safe on public Wi-Fi. Get NordVPN's special offer and encrypt your internet connection. NordVPN. Online security starts with a click.